Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Today, we're talking about 10 ways to have your home stand out so that you can get sold. And so these might be things you've thought about. They might be things you haven't thought about. But these can be really impactful things that make a difference in either how long your home is on the market or even how much your home sells for. So for those that don't know who I am, my name is Jolyn Hall. I'm a real estate agent with Schmidt Realty Group. I'm a seniors real estate specialist. So although I work with all ages and stages, my specialty is working with those 55 plus. I'm also a senior certified relocation and transition specialist just because making moves later in life have some complexities to them. I was a previous registered nurse and home care case manager. And I'm also the owner of Edmonton 55, which helps older adults navigate housing choices, whether they're buying, renting, or life leasing. So today we're going to talk about the differences between sellers and buyers markets because they do influence the sale of your home. And we're going to really focus on 10 different ways to have your home stand out. So a buyer's market means that there's higher inventory, so lots of homes for sale, which means there's lots of choice for buyers. So there might be 4 houses for each buyer, and they can really be picky and choosy. They can decide their price, they can decide their timeline and do what they want to do. And so in a buyer's market, you really need to work hard to stand out because you're competing with so many other houses. A seller's market is different in that there's lower inventory, so less homes for sale means there's less choice for buyers. So you might have 4 buyers per home for sale. So there's a bit of competition. But even in a seller's market, your home has to stand out. If it stands out, it'll get sold quickly. If it doesn't stand out, it's going to be bypassed over and over by buyers, and they're going to all flock towards those standout homes. So presently, March 2021, we are in a seller's market, a very temporary, most likely seller's market. Due to the pandemic, there's been a bit of a perfect storm of people having to work from home and do school from home, so they need more space, or maybe they need less space. The interest rate has been incredibly low, and that is starting to creep up. So now buyers are in a panic. They want to capture a home during this low interest rate period. And we know for sellers, there is about to be a flood of foreclosures from the pandemic coming onto the market, which is going to significantly add to the inventory and may shift it back to a buyer's market. So many of the sellers I'm working with right now are trying to get on the market quickly, get off the market quickly, and get the highest price possible. And so I'm using a lot of these strategies with them because, again, the secret in the seller's market is to really make sure your home stands out so that you can have the most number of buyers competing for your home potentially. So obviously, if you're in a buyer's market and there's higher neighborhood inventory, it's going to take you longer to sell because there's so many choices for those buyers. But even in a seller's market, you want to sell quickly and have less time on the market so that you have less showings to deal with. Showings can be really disruptive, having to take out your garbage, take out your pets, possibly throw laundry in the back of your vehicle to leave for a showing. And so having to deal with a lot of showings is not fun. A lot of my buyers right now aren't dealing with many, a lot of my sellers, I should say, are not dealing with many showings. Usually they're doing a couple showings within the first 48 hours to a week, and then they've got a great offer by that point. So standing out helps you get through showings a lot quicker and kind of back to normal life after that. A geeky, nerdy stat that I always love is my absorption rate formula. So it's a formula to decide how many months of inventory there is, and we use that to review your odds of selling. So that's something that any real estate agent can work with you on as to what your neighborhood absorption rate is in the past. I can look at, what was absorption rate last year compared to this year and help you decide sort of what's happening in that regards. But absorption rate is going to help you know what's going on from your neighborhood to neighborhood, because every neighborhood is its own micro market. Just because a couple blocks away things are selling super fast doesn't mean that's the same for your neighborhood. But it's always important to have that pulse on the market, especially for your neighborhood, to see what's going on. So I want to talk about 10 ways to make your home stand out, slow market or seller's market, so that you're prepared. So there's 3 elements you can control before you even list your house. And cleanliness is the first one. If you can't do it, hire somebody in to do it. Clean your home from top to bottom. Because no matter how dated your home is, how old your fixtures, your furnace, your shingles are, if your home is immaculate, buyers make a funny interpretation that means your home is well cared for. I've seen homes that were absolutely trashed before we listed them from renters. They did a thorough top to bottom clean and some touch-ups. And people are like, oh my gosh, this home's been so well cared for years. Buyers make assumptions. And so the more you can play to those assumptions, the better it can help you. You could have 2 homes on the same block, same floor plan, same fixtures. The home that's cleaner will get offers, and usually lots of offers. The ones that are not clean, it takes a special type of buyer to see past the dirt. So it's little things like your light switches, your baseboards, your ceiling fans, your blinds, cleaning all of your windows, all of your furnace vents, your fresh air return vents, your bathroom vents. Those little things buyers will notice. So give your home a thorough cleaning before you do photos, before you put it on the market. Do the minor fixes. I am not talking about renovations. Most homes do not need to do substantial renovation. You usually put more money into the renovation than you're ever going to get back out. So I want you to focus on the minor, inexpensive fixes. Fix the leaky faucets, fix the running toilets, tighten cupboard handles, replace all the light bulbs in each room to the same color and same light bulb type. It's little things like, fixing the torn carpet. If you've got some minor dings to your baseboard or such, can you touch that up with paint? Just little things. Is your doorknob at the front door sticky? If that's the door agents and their clients and buyers are coming through, they're going to notice the sticky door first. Fix that so that that's not an issue. And so focus on the little things that were never really a bother to you, but somebody who's opening cupboards and opening closets, if you've got the bifold doors on the rails, do you need to add some WD-40 just so that they open and close freely rather than kind of sketchy, rattling open and closed? Do those little things because buyers notice. And check your curb appeal. If you don't have great curb appeal, well, there's snow on the ground is a perfect time to sell your home because people don't seem to care so much about the yard in winter. So it can be a great time to sell. But as we get to spring, add a flower pot to the front step, keep the lawn trimmed, keep the snow and the ice, especially with this freeze thaw right now. Keep that graveled, keep it sanded. Weed flower beds, paint up the fencing. Even if it's an old ratty fence, a fresh coat of paint can again change how that home is interpreted. So then there's three elements that are affected by your choice of agent, whether you're listing on your own or using an agency. Just like bakers, every agent is different. Everyone offers different services and different level of expertise and different way of doing things. So these are the things you want to watch for, especially in sort of as we're getting out of COVID. These have all become very important. Professional photos. I know everybody has an iPhone or a smartphone. A lot of agents will speak that they can just take photos on their phone. It makes a difference. If you go through the real estate websites, realtor.ca, for example, and go through listings, any listing, you're going to be able to pick out those that have professional photos versus iPhone photos. The photos are bright, the rooms, you get a good sense of the layout and the size. They're not distorted, they're not really stretched. Professional photos are the way that your buyers are going to view your home first. 99% of first views of your home are online. And those photos need to be good enough for people to want to see your home in person, to come to a showing. So for every one showing, there's about 200 to 300 views online to get that one showing. And so it's really important you have professional photos that realistically represent your home. The one thing photos can't do is they can't give you a sense of the layout of the home. They're all scattered pictures. So is the bedroom close to the kitchen? Where is that bathroom located? Sometimes it's hard to tell, are you on the second level or the first level or the basement? So a virtual walkthrough is a video that allows a person to basically follow a path through your house or condo, and that way they can see, oh, the bathroom is right beside the bedroom, or the pantry's in that corner of the kitchen, or the door to the deck is located just off the living room. That's fantastic. That virtual walkthrough we also find is really important because a lot of people, especially with COVID, want to minimize the houses they're going into. So they'll look for homes with those virtual walkthroughs to make sure that the layout works for them before they even go to the house. If the virtual walkthrough isn't there, then sometimes those homes are being skipped. So you want to make sure your agent is going to have professional photos taken of your property, and that also includes a video virtual walkthrough. And then the difference too between agents is their marketing plan. It's not just about listing your home on MLS. For my sellers, there's an extensive marketing plan. We're researching, putting into place, creating materials for before we even list. And also during that time, we're making sure that we can market that home to the right target audience. Is it a home that's good for an investor that wants to have renters? Is it a good home for a young family? Is it a good home for an older couple? Who is that home right for? Because we want to create the marketing that targets that. MLS doesn't target anything. MLS, your home's there to be found, but it's really in writing your blurb, creating the marketing and brochure materials, different things like that, so that when your home hits the market, minutes out of the gate, it is already targeted to the right people. So it's also looking at, does your agent offer social media marketing? I do paid advertisements on Facebook, Kijiji, Instagram, and a number of other locations, because at the end of the day, I'm not just looking for the buyers that are already searching realtor.ca. I'm looking for the buyers that didn't know they wanted to buy. I'm looking for those buyers that are going, oh my gosh, that garden's so incredible. I've always dreamed of something like that. We should go look at that house. I know we weren't going to look at something for 5 years, but we should go look at that house. Those are the buyers that are going to be extremely passionate about your house and not just looking through realtor.ca as a hobby, because there are a lot of buyers that aren't true buyers that just love shopping and house hunting on realtor.ca. So social media allows a marketing plan that goes beyond those already on MLS. And the whole idea is that that marketing plan should have unique ways to find buyers who are not on the market, because that's going to help you create more competition for your home. But those buyers that aren't on the market haven't looked at everything else in the neighborhood. They may not fully understand the pricing. They may not understand some of the nuances of your neighborhood. Those buyers can be really great buyers for you to have competing on your home when they've only seen this one house and they want that one house, yours. So you want your agent to do professional photos. You want your agent to also have a video walkthrough, and you want your agent to have an innovative marketing plan for you. So these last 4 items that we're going to talk to for making sure your home stands out is really once your home is listed. So once you've gone through that work of getting your home ready for sale, taking all the recommendations from your agent as to repairs and fixes and things that you should do, you've cleaned it, you've gotten it ready, your agent has done photos, they've done the video walkthrough, they've developed the marketing plan, and now you've listed your home on MLS. The first thing that's going to make your home sell quickly and at a higher price is the ease of showings. So you do want to ask your agent how showings are booked. Who is answering their phone, texts, and emails when somebody's requesting a showing? For myself, I have an A team, my awesome team, that all my phones, texts, and emails for showings go to, so that even if I'm on a presentation, if I'm meeting with a client and there's showing requests coming in, they're being responded to immediately, because some buyers are looking to get out today. And if they're not getting a response for can they see the home in 2 hours, they're just going to go to another home and they might fall in love with that one. So you really want to make sure you have a plan with your agent for how showings are going to be handled and that they're quickly and efficiently processed. You need to make it really easy for buyers. So I see a lot of people, sellers put comments like, must have 24 hours notice, must have 6 hours notice, must book showings for next day. That is going to turn buyers away. Sometimes buyers are from out of town or have a very tight work schedule and they've taken off one window in an afternoon to go look at homes. The ones that they can look at, they're going to buy from one of those. And so you want to make it as easy as possible to show. So for some of my clients that are going to be home, because an option is to move wherever you're going to move to before you list your home, so your home is vacant, then it's really easy to offer showings for whenever they want to come. But for some of my clients that have to be in the home, that have to sell that home first before they can move or purchase their next property, sometimes what we're looking at is their family or friends they can stay with, especially for that first weekend on the market, so that we can just automatically approve all of the showings and you're not being kicked out and back and forth from your home. So there's definitely some strategies that if you are at home for showings, there's some things we can look at that will help you make it easy to allow buyers to see your home quickly and easily on their schedule. The other thing that's going to help you sell very quickly is pricing right. So the one mistake I see of people, even in a seller's market, is, well, we can ask higher price. Actually, if you do about 5 to 10% above what the comparables are for your neighborhood so that you're still within a range of a fair market price. That is how you can drum up multiples. Multiples do not happen on overpriced properties. And that's because buyers are going to go, well, there's these three that seem really reasonable priced, and this one seems way out to lunch. I'm not going to go see the way out to lunch one because the seller's probably really unreasonable to negotiate with. I'm going to go see these other three that are more reasonably priced. By pricing to fair market value, that's where you create competition. That is when you get multiple offers. You do not get multiple offers on an overpriced property. Nobody cares. They're going to ignore your property. When you are priced right, even in a slow market, buyers acknowledge that. They see you as a reasonable person. There's less chance of them wanting to completely haggle you down. So it's really about working with your agent to decide the right pricing strategy for your home, for the market in your neighborhood, and know who you are competing with. If there is other homes on the market in your neighborhood that look better than you, that have more renovations than you, and their price is lower than you might need to readjust your price too, so that it looks in line with everything else comparable in the neighborhood. So you want to price your home in a fair market value to sell your home quickly and to make it stand out so that buyers want to see it. In a neighborhood, often buyers have preferences for neighborhoods, so they're often seeing all of those homes in a neighborhood all in one day. Ideally, to improve your odds of getting sold quickly and standing out, you want to be in the top 3 residences. So that's top 3 for your styling of home and quality of home. If you have an older home that maybe doesn't have a lot of updates or renovations to it, then for the other homes in your neighborhoods that don't have a lot of updates, that are a little bit more original, you want to be one of the top 3, ideally the top, because that's also going to get you to stand out and get you sold better. So you're not competing with the highly renovated houses when you've got a fairly original house, but look at the houses that fit similar to your home. If you're kind of like the 6th best, you're probably not going to get much notice. And the biggest thing to keep ahead of getting your home sold, getting the attention there, making sure it stands out, is keeping ahead of the market. Right now, we have a very temporary seller's market. We know these foreclosures are coming. They're already hitting many neighborhoods. So for my clients in those neighborhoods, we're watching every week to see what's happening to the inventory. With one of my clients, we were thinking of listing sometime in the next 2 months. And we were watching the market every week just to keep a pulse on what's going on. And there had been a lot of activity in her neighborhood, and then nothing. There was no houses in that neighborhood. We know from the sold prices that many of those homes went into multiple offers, which means there was some buyers that missed out on houses. Since there was nothing else on the market, we got her on the market really quickly. She was the only one in her price range in her neighborhood. Within a week, she had an offer, and within 2 weeks, she was sold. And just before she sold, a number of other homes came on the market that were better than hers and priced way lower than hers. And she got a better price because she came in when there was that gap, when there was nothing else, had buyers competing. And she was only successful at that because we were keeping a close eye on what was happening in the neighborhood. And we were able to predict and see what was happening to make decisions. And she was good. She made decisions quickly. Yep, let's do it. Let's jump on it, see what we can do for pricing wise. And it worked in her favor. It's always a gamble, but when you're listening and reading and watching the market, the market gives you a lot of hints as to what's happening and what's coming. So if we notice that in some neighborhoods, a lot of foreclosures are starting to come, we might be talking about our price adjustments that maybe we were going to wait another month for, but maybe it's worth doing now before there's a flood of inventory to make the home more desirable. So price adjustments we hate to do. If we have to do them in response to the market. But keeping ahead of the market and keeping in touch, keeping on the pulse of the market can help your home stand out. So that's 10 things, 3 to do before you get listed, 3 that are affected by the agent you choose, and 4 are things to keep on top of as you get listed. Those 10 things can help your home stand out. If your home is not selling, we always talk about the 3 Ps, because a buyer is looking for these 3 Ps. A home has to be in the right price for a buyer for whatever they're qualified for. The property, the home, the yard has to be right for them. And the place has to be right for them. It has to be the right neighborhood, has to be close enough to work, has to be close enough to the right schools. So every buyer has a price, a property in mind, and a place in mind. So when you're not selling, it means that your price, property, and or place, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe all 3 of these are not lining up with what buyers are looking for. So place, well, if a buyer's not looking for your neighborhood, there's not much you can do. We're not really picking up a home and moving it to the next neighborhood to get it to sell. So place, not much you can do. You can make sure people know you're for sale and know the benefits of your place and your neighborhood, but there's not much you can do to influence a buyer if they're not interested in your area. The property, we generally know a lot about what buyers think of the property from feedback. So do they think it's dirty? Do they think the colors are too wild? Do they hate the flooring? Sometimes it's worth doing an update based on feedback to change the property. Sometimes it needs to be cleaner. Sometimes we've got to make it easier to find light switches so that they can turn on all the lights in the basement. So what about the property can you change? Not usually a lot. But price as a seller is what you do have control of, because for the right price, buyers will consider a different property. We didn't want a 4-level split, but this is a really great price. Maybe we should snatch it up. They'll also consider a different place going, we really want this neighborhood, but all the homes are 50,000 above what our budget is. Let's look at the next neighborhood because now this one is priced for what we're looking for in a different neighborhood. It's worth considering. So when your home isn't selling, it's important to work with your agent to know, is there something about the place, the property, or the price that's not working for buyers? Because at the end of the day, I don't set the price, you don't set the price, the buyers set the price as to what they're comfortable for paying. They'll pay fair market value. They'll also pay way above fair market value if they really, really want your house. And so it's important that you make sure your house stands out, but at the same time, you be receptive to the information coming in from buyers, that feedback, or sometimes the lack of feedback. If your home has been on the market for more than 30 days without an offer, there should be a reason. Most homes sell, at least in mine, most of my homes sell within 12 showings. The only time a home is taken longer than that to sell is when a seller is not taking my advice to amend the property, to amend their price, to reflect what the market has told us. When they don't listen to me, it takes them longer to sell, because I don't do price adjustments lightly. But if a home isn't selling, it doesn't do you any good to keep paying insurance, keep paying utilities, and keep dealing with more showings if nobody's going to buy it. So keep in mind, if your home is not selling, it's one of these 3 Ps that needs to be adjusted for buyers to consider it. You should always be reviewing statistics weekly with your real estate agent. I do this with all of my clients that are either getting ready to get on the market or are on the market. And we keep close eye. These are all examples of things we do to keep an eye on where people are at, what's happening, who's looking at their neighborhood, who's looking at their listing, to keep on top of it all. As a seller, you always have to be aware of the typical sales process. So it starts with getting your listing active on MLS and all the work before. You're going to have showings. You're going to receive a purchase contract, which is your offer. You're going to negotiate the price, conditions, dates, terms of that offer. Once both sides get to an agreement, you're officially pending. And there's usually 5 to 7 business days for the buyer to remove conditions like their financing condition, their home inspection condition. And when they waive those final conditions saying they're okay with the house, that's when you are officially sold. And then there's usually a gap until possession day. So on the top of this sales process, we kind of work backwards from right to left. If you as a seller want to move by September, if you're offering a 60-day possession, that means conditions must be removed by July, which means you needed to accept an offer in mid-June, which means somebody needs to be making an offer by early June. Well, if your neighborhood homes typically take 70 to 80 days on market to sell, you needed to be listed in March or April to make that September move. So a lot of people make the mistake of calling me in August or September going, I want to move by winter, I want to move in 2 months. Well, depending on their neighborhood, they might be on the market for a little bit longer, or they might need a longer possession date. So you really need to plan early. If you have a timeline in mind for when you want to make your move, be working with your agent to figure out the right time to list your home. I'm happy to help anyone that's thinking of working with a real estate agent. I'll do a free comparative analysis of your home. We'll talk about what's going on in your neighborhood as I can see it, what some little fixes are worth doing in your home or things you can do to get ready. And we'll also figure out your timeline. We'll start watching your neighborhood to see what's going on and when would be a good time for you to list. Together, we're going to develop the best marketing plan of who to target your home to. And we're going to work together to find what would be the magic number to list your price at. Now, I always say price is negotiable to the day we list. So if you're not selling for 2 or 3 years, I'm happy to do a comparative market analysis and get you watching your neighborhood. But I can't tell you what your house is going to sell for in 2 years. I can only tell you what your house would sell for probably if it was listed today, because all I can know is the market today. The market changes frequently, oftentimes every week it's different, and sometimes every day it's different. It depends what's happening out there. But we'll talk about what sort of is a comfortable range right now for your home, and then we fine tune that as we get closer to listing your home. The whole idea is getting you selling with confidence and being comfortable with the process, what's going on in your neighborhood, and feeling like you have all the right information to make the right decisions for you. If you need more help, I have a right sizing guide, I have a condo buying guide, and I have a seller's packet of information. I'm willing to email out or mail out any of those to you. So just reach out to me via phone, email, or text, and I'm happy to send out your requests. I do have a monthly newsletter that does include some market updates, some neighborhood updates, as well as some local businesses. And every month we give away a $200 gift card to a great local business. We've always been about supporting local, even before the pandemic. And so just send me your email address and I'll happily add you to the monthly newsletter. And then if you know you're not going to be selling for a bit of time, but you want to start keeping a watch on what's happening with your neighborhood, let me know that you want a monthly solds report. Let me know the type of house you have, whether it's a condo, apartment, whether you're townhouse, bungalow, that sort of thing. And then I can, and what neighborhood you're in, obviously, and then I can send you a monthly report so that you can see what's selling in your neighborhood and what they're selling for, so that you can be informed and ready for whenever you are ready for listing your home. None of this is about my timeline. It's all about what works best for you. I just help educate you on what's happening on the market, what might be some opportunities that you can take advantage of as a seller. So whether you're ready to sell now or just planning for in the future, don't hesitate to reach out to me. My comparative market analysis of your home is a completely free service, and I really don't care whether you're selling now or in 5 years from now. It's always good to know the value of your home if you had to sell it today, if things suddenly changed. So please reach out to me. Happy to have that conversation. Or if you know you need to sell something and need to buy something else, but not sure what you want to buy, then sometimes we start with the buy side and take a look at what's out there so that you can use that information to plan the strategy for listing your home. What do you need to get out of it? What timelines you need to get into the right type of property for you? So I'm just going to shut off the recording here. I want to thank you all for joining me today, and I'll open this up for some questions. Let me just, there we go. Oh, my mouse does not want to go there.
Jolene, I think to unmute, the people have to do *6 in other Zoom meetings. Maybe ask them to try do that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't